Today I'm sitting down with Joseph Dallago, who is co-founder and CEO of Rain, the first licensed cryptocurrency exchange here in the Middle East. I'm Greg Fairley. Welcome to 50 MENA Leaders. We are here with Joseph Dallago, who is the co-founder and CEO of Rain. Joseph, great to see you.
Great to see you as well. Thank you for having me.
Tell us, if you would, first of all, about the Rain story.
I think we have a really fun story. We have 4 co-founders that all met online from different parts of the world, and just were really united by a common love and passion for Bitcoin and crypto. And we started working together and came together and started a company. We were all enthusiasts of Bitcoin dating back to 2013. And we're active community participants. We were all doing different things in the world, but we're still actively researching the space and just really excited about it and enthusiasts about crypto. And then in 2016, AJ and myself, we had run prior tech companies in the Valley, in the Silicon Valley, and we met Yahya Badawi online. And he was the very first person to start a Bitcoin meetup in the MENA region way back in 2014 in Cairo, Egypt. And then we also met Abdullah Al-Moikel from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And he was also an advocate of Bitcoin and had created a following for himself across the Gulf in the cryptocurrency space. So the 4 of us all came together and started researching different opportunities. We grew really excited about starting an exchange based in the Gulf, and started conversations with regulators. And we ended up making inroads with the Central Bank of Bahrain in early 2017. Got admitted into their new sandbox and worked with them for 2.5 years to help create a regulatory framework around crypto, which we're really proud of, called the Crypto Asset Module. The CBB released that in early 2019. We were approved for the license in mid-2019, and we've been operating ever since. We did over 2 billion of volume last year. And we're really excited for the future. We support the Gulf as well as Turkey, and we have a lot more in store for this year.
That's a fascinating story of how you began. Thanks for sharing that with us. You touched on regulation then. How important is regulation for a new financial asset, and particularly cryptocurrencies? I mean, and is regulation where it should be right now?
Absolutely. So, as a company, we really value regulation. I think that when you're a financial company and you're a startup, regulation really increases the overall quality of the company, and ensures that you are dotting your I's and crossing your T's, so to speak. So in the early days, regulation really improved the quality and raised the bar for our company. So we really do value the role of regulation. As I mentioned, we worked with the Central Bank of Bahrain to advise them on the industry that resulted in them releasing the Crypto Asset Module in early 2019. So we're very proud of that work. And where we are today with regulation is, I think that we're still, I think regulators are still very much learning about this technology. So we think that there are cases where regulation can stifle innovation. So it's very important that in those cases that we continue to have an open dialogue with regulators and work to improve those aspects. But we just really value the role of regulation as we grow the company.
There is a lot of information and misinformation about cryptocurrencies. Would you say that's valid?
Definitely. I think that this is such a fast-moving industry. It's, in my opinion, probably the fastest-moving industry in the world right now. There are so many different projects out there. There are thousands of proliferating coin projects that have popped up. So now more than ever before, we really need good editorial of these different projects. And we really need to be able to compare each of them for their merits, understand the subtle differences for them, and ultimately inform customers of what they're buying is the biggest thing that's really important at Rain. So at Rain, we really see ourselves as an educator and as a guide for people in their journey into crypto. So we really find it important to educate people, as I mentioned, about what they're buying. So to answer your question, there is a lot of misinformation, but I believe at Rain we're doing our part to really clear all of that up and reduce the amount of confusion in the industry.
Now, crypto is obviously a new investment sector. Do you think it's fully understood? And also, how do you help at Rain?
Definitely. So I think we're still doing a lot of work in explaining crypto to people. It's a really innovative new concept. The idea of a global digital money is a really big idea, but it's also hard to understand. I often feel like we're in the early 90s with the internet, where I imagine that it was very difficult to explain to people that at one point there would be a worldwide computer network where you could send information and news and messages to people. So in a similar kind, explaining a global digital money to people and what that looks like is also very challenging. But at Rain, we're really doing our part to just further education in the space.
What are the investment opportunities that you provide at Rain in crypto?
Yeah, so I think the opportunity around crypto is broadly, you can think about crypto as an investment. So if you're thinking about crypto as an investment, Rain offers a really simple and easy to use brokerage where you can sign up, you go through a certain onboarding process, and once you're approved, you can very easily buy and sell from a selection of over 70 coins. And we really streamline that whole process for you. And then once you own crypto, then you have access to this whole kind of financial system where you can pay for things, you can take out loans, crypto-backed loans, and you can also send payments globally. So you have access to all of these interesting capabilities as part of the wider system of cryptocurrency. And I'd say all of those capabilities are continuing to be explored and innovated upon. And it's a really exciting ecosystem. There's a lot there's a huge potential there.
It's an amazing sector and it's moving so fast. Where would you say the centers of crypto currently are, and where does the UAE and this region feature?
Absolutely. So, maybe 5 years ago, I would have narrowed down the major crypto hubs to only a few cities. But I'd say every major city in the world now has an active crypto community. And we're at a really exciting time, especially in 2021. We saw a massive global adoption of cryptocurrency. And where UAE fits into that global picture is, I think that UAE is really well positioned to become a major global cryptocurrency hub. We have, if you look at the wider Gulf, this trend started with the CBB back in 2019, releasing the crypto asset module, the first piece of regulation of its kind in the region. Then you also have the Abu Dhabi Global Markets releasing their regulatory framework a few years ago. And more recently, you have the Dubai World Trade Center that released their new piece of regulation that enables a lot of new business models in the space. So there's a lot of, and I know surrounding nations are also having conversations about regulating crypto as well. So you have just a lot of activity going on in the region around regulating the space. So I think we're really well positioned in the region to be a major hub and in some cases, really lead the world in terms of regulating these companies.
Rain started back in the early days in 2016. We're now in 2022. We've been through the global pandemic. The world's a very different place. But what's your current vision? Has it changed from 2016?
Yeah, it really hasn't changed all that much. There were certain things that through the pandemic, there were certain things that absolutely got accelerated. We were already seeing digitization of payments. We were already seeing contactless payments becoming more and more trendy and more adopted across the world. And those things only were accelerated throughout the pandemic. But our mission has largely always stayed the same. We set out to provide a really trusted, reputable, and easy to use way to access cryptocurrency, access and buy and store cryptocurrency across the Middle East and North Africa. And I think that we've made some significant contributions to achieving that mission, and we have a ways to go, but we're really committed to working with regulators across the Middle East and North Africa to really legitimize the space and be able to operate within their borders.
Joseph, as an expert in the sector, then how do you see the evolution of digital assets?
Yeah, so I think that we're still very much in the early phases of this technology. People are still getting on board and onto the technology. They're still learning about what it is, and I think that there's already a solid amount of adoption. But things are going to get really interesting when you have a huge amount of the world using cryptocurrency, and then it's hard to even imagine kind of what will come of that. Right now, we're still very much at an infrastructural phase of this entire technology. So we're still very much educating customers about what cryptocurrency is, and we're focused on just providing access and allowing people to obtain and hold crypto. I think the next stage of evolution happens when most people in the world are holding some amount of crypto, and then they start spending it, they start paying for things, they start using the greater ecosystem for all of its new capabilities, like lending, like payments, and all of these really exciting new capabilities, and doing so in a way that's global. And this really speaks to crypto's unique benefits to the world. It's a much lower barrier to entry system. So everyone in the world, who has a smartphone has the ability to onboard onto the financial system of cryptocurrency. It's natively global, so you can interact with anyone on the planet, which is really opens up completely new doors and new capabilities for people. It's 24/7, 7 days a week, so you have a system that literally never stops. You can at 3 a.m. you can do a send, and it'll settle within seconds or minutes. And the fact that it's backed by the global economy, I have to imagine that it'll be stable and more resilient to financial crises over the long run. So all of these things make this new system really unique. So broadly, I think people are really obtaining it today, and they're getting access to cryptocurrency. But then in the future, they have access to all of these unique benefits and the interesting use cases that are going to come up.
I mean, crypto is unique, but compared to other financial assets, is there also a lot of risk associated with cryptocurrencies?
I'd say so. I think that, like any new technology, there is a certain level of risk associated with adopting a new technology. I'd say, though, that certain cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, have been largely de-risked at this point. There's just such a massive global community using them every day, receiving a lot of utility from using those protocols. There's a really active and motivated developer community behind both, ensuring the ongoing success of both protocols. So I'd say that those two in particular are very stable and resilient. And then the wider ecosystem, I think, incurs a lot more risk, or has a lot more risk associated with it. But those two in particular strike me as very low risk at this point. And I think everyone should be holding at least 5% of their portfolio in crypto at this point, in particular the two I mentioned, because there it's just such an important, new, and interesting asset class that you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not. Some of the largest wealth managers in the world are starting to buy crypto. So then I would ask the question, what's stopping each individual from doing what some of the largest wealth managers in the world are doing?
Now, Joseph, do you get friends, relatives, business associates saying to you, I wish I'd bought crypto in the early days, real early days, something like the Bitcoin, etc.? Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I get that all the time. The funny thing about that, though, is the thing that the crypto community likes to say is, the best time to buy crypto was, 7 years ago or 8 years ago or whatever. But the second best time is now, because this is just an ever growing new asset class. And I do believe that the most important protocols, a set of really unique high value protocols will continue to grow in value over time. So I would recommend, as I mentioned earlier, to definitely have a certain amount of exposure to this new asset class.
You believed in crypto from day one, basically, as far as I can see. So much so that maybe you've also gifted some crypto to friends and relatives.
I did, yeah, I did in 2013 in particular. But one note here is I actually didn't believe in crypto from the start. Someone told me about it. I was busy at the time, and I've heard the story a lot where it kind of takes 2 or 3 times for someone to hear about crypto before they really dive deep into it. But a friend told me about it in early 2013, and then a second friend told me about it about a few months later, and then I went did a deep dive. So it was putting myself back in my shoes in early 2013. It can be such just an abstract idea sometimes that I think people graze over it. But if I had any if I have any advice, don't allow yourself to graze over crypto for too long, and really take the time and effort to research it, because it'll undoubtedly be worth it. And I did gift crypto to a number of people in 2013. It was about $200 or $300 at the time, and I would go to parties or other social gatherings and send people small amounts of Bitcoin, and like $5, $10 here. And I've been told that from certain friends that amount of money is thousands of dollars now at its current value.
Fantastic. Well, really great speaking to you today. Appreciate your time. Joseph Dallago, thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.